Roger Federer is a Swiss former professional tennis player. He was ranked world number 1 by the Association of Tennis Professionals for 310 weeks, including a record 237 consecutive weeks, and finished as the year-end number 1 5 times. He won 103 ATP singles titles, the second most of all time, including 20 Grand Slam singles titles, a record 8 men's singles Wimbledon titles, an Open-era record-tying 5 men's singles US Open titles, and a record 6 year-end championships. Federer played during an era where he dominated men's tennis along with Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic as the Big Three, collectively considered by some to be the 3 most successful male tennis players of all time. A Wimbledon junior champion in 1998 and former ballboy, Federer won his first major singles title at Wimbledon in 2003 at age 21. Between 2003 and 2009 Federer played in 21 out of 28 major singles finals. He won 3 of the 4 majors and the ATP finals in 2004, 2006, and 2007, as well as 5 consecutive titles at both Wimbledon and the US Open. He completed the career Grand Slam at the 2009 French Open after 3 consecutive runner-up finishes to Nadal, his main rival until 2010. At age 27, he surpassed Pete Sampras' record of 14 major men's singles titles at Wimbledon in 2009. Although Federer remained in the top 3 during most of the early 2010s, the success of Djokovic and Nadal ended his dominance over grass and hard courts, winning 2 majors between 2010 and 2016. During this period of time, he and Stan Wawrinka led the Switzerland Davis Cup team to their first title in 2014, following their Olympic doubles gold victory at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Federer also won a silver medal in singles at the 2012 London Olympics, where he finished runner-up to Andy Murray. After a half-year hiatus in late 2016 to recover from knee surgery, Federer made a stellar return to tennis, winning 3 more majors over the next 2 years, including the 2017 Australian Open over Nadal and an 8th singles title at the 2017 Wimbledon Championships. At the 2018 Australian Open, Federer became the first man to win 20 major singles titles and shortly the oldest ATP world number 1 at age 36. In September 2022, he retired from professional tennis following the Laver Cup. A versatile all-court player, Federer's perceived effortlessness has made him highly popular among tennis fans. Originally lacking self-control as a junior, he transformed his on-court demeanor to become well-liked for his general graciousness, winning the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award 13 times. He has won the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award a record 5 times. Outside of competing, he played an instrumental role in the creation of the Laver Cup team competition. He is also an active philanthropist. He established the Roger Federer Foundation, which targets impoverished children in southern Africa, and has raised funds in part through the Match for Africa exhibition series. He is routinely one of the top 10 highest paid athletes in any sport and ranked first among all athletes with $100 million in endorsement income in 2020. Personal life. Childhood and early life. Federer was born on August 8, 1981 in Basel, Switzerland. A member of the Federer family, his Swiss-German father, Robert Federer, is from Berneck in the canton of St. Gallen, and his Afrikaner mother, Lynette Federer, is from Kempton Park, Gauteng, in South Africa. He has 1 sibling, his older sister, Diana, the mother of twins. Since Federer's mother is South African, he holds both Swiss and South African citizenship. He grew up in nearby Beersfelden, Riehen, and then Munchenstein, close to the French and German borders, and speaks Swiss German, Standard German, English, and French fluently as well as functional Italian and Swedish. Swiss German is his native language. He was a ball boy at his hometown Basel tournament, the Swiss indoors in 1992 and 1993. Like all male Swiss citizens, Federer was subject to compulsory military service in the Swiss Armed Forces. However, in 2003 he was ruled unsuitable and was subsequently not required to fulfill his military obligation. Instead, he served in the Civil Protection Force and was required to pay 3% of his taxable income as an alternative. He grew up supporting FC Basel and the Swiss national football team. He also credits his hand-eye coordination to the wide range of sports he played as a child, including badminton and basketball. Family. Federer is married to former Women's Tennis Association player Miroslava Federer, whom he met while they were both competing for Switzerland at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. Usually called Mirka, she retired from the tour in 2002 because of a foot injury. They were married at Wenkenhof Villa in Rehen near Basel on April 11, 2009, surrounded by a small group of close friends and family. In 2009, she gave birth to identical twin girls. They had another pair of twins in 2014, this time fraternal twin boys. Their children were baptized in the Catholic faith by Federer's distant cousin Monsignor Urban Federer, who is the abbot of Einsiedeln Abbey. Tennis career. 1996–1998, junior years. Federer played his first junior match in 1996 at the age of 14 at a Grade II tournament in Switzerland. His main accomplishments as a junior player came at Wimbledon in 1998 when he won both the boys' singles final over Irakli Labudz, and in doubles teamed with Olivier Rochus, defeating the team of Michael Laudrup and Andy Ram. In addition, he reached the US Open Junior Final in 1998, losing to David Nalbandian. Federer won 4 ITF junior singles tournaments in his career, including the prestigious Orange Bowl, where he defeated Guillermo Coria in the final. By the end of 1998 he attained the number 1 junior world ranking and was awarded ITF Junior World Champion. He ended his junior career at the end of 1998 with a high ranking of number 1 in singles and number 7 in doubles and a win-loss record of 78-20 in singles and 36-21 in doubles. Junior Grand Slam results: singles, Australian Open, SF. French Open, 1R. Wimbledon, W. US Open, F. Junior Grand Slam results: doubles, Australian Open, SF. French Open, 1R. Wimbledon, W. US Open, 1R. 1998–2002, early professional career. Federer made his ATP debut at the 1998 Swiss Open Gstaad in his home country of Switzerland, losing to Lucas Arnold Kerr in the first round. Later that year, he won his first ATP match in Toulouse against Guillaume Reyou. He got a wild card into the 1998 Swiss indoors and lost in the first round to 4th seed and former world number 1 Andre Agassi. Federer finished his career as a 10-time champion of the tournament. Federer entered the top 100 ranking for the first time on September 20, 1999 and started at the 1999 Marseille Open, defeating the reigning champion of the 1998 French Open, Spaniard Carlos Moya. His first final came at the Marseille Open in 2000, where he lost to fellow Swiss Marc Rosset. Federer won the 2001 Hopman Cup representing Switzerland, along with world number 1 Martina Hingis. The duo defeated the American pair of Monica Seles and Jan-Michael Gambel in the finals. Federer later said that his experience with Hingis definitely helped me to become the player I am today. Federer's first singles win was at the 2001 Milan Indoor Tournament, where he defeated Julian Bouter in the final. Although he won his first title already in 1999 on the Challenger Tour, winning the doubles event in Segovia, Spain with Dutchman Sander Groen, the final was played on Federer's 18th birthday. In 2001, Federer made his first Grand Slam quarter-final at the French Open, losing to former world number 2 and eventual finalist Alex Corretja. His run to the French quarterfinals launched him into the top 15 for the first time in his career. His international breakthrough came at the 2001 Wimbledon Championships, when the 19-year-old Federer faced the four-time defending champion and all-time Grand Slam leader Pete Sampras. Federer beat the number 1 seed in a 5-set match to reach the quarterfinals. In the quarters he faced Englishman Tim Henman, eventually losing in a 4th-set tiebreaker. The first final he reached at the Masters level came at the 2002 Miami Masters event, where he lost to former and future number 1 Andre Agassi on hard court. Federer won his first Masters Series event at the 2002 Hamburg Masters on clay, over Marat Safin. The victory put him in the top 10 for the first time. Federer made 10 singles finals between 1998 and 2002, of which he won 4 and lost 6. He also made 6 finals in doubles. He finished 2001 with an ATP ranking of number 13, and 2002 was the first year he was ranked within the top 10, finishing at number 6. 2003, Grand Slam breakthrough at Wimbledon. In 2003, Federer won his first Grand Slam singles title at Wimbledon, beating Andy Roddick in the semi-finals and Mark Philippoussis in the final. In August he had a chance to take over the number 1 ranking for the first time from Andre Agassi if he made it to the Montreal final. However, he fell in the semi-finals to Roddick, in a final set tiebreaker, leaving him 120 points behind Agassi. This, coupled with early losses to David Nalbandian at Cincinnati and the US Open, denied Federer the chance to become number 1 for the duration of the season. Federer won his first and only doubles Masters event in Miami with Max Mirnyi and made it to one singles Masters event in Rome on clay, which he lost. Federer made it to 9 finals on the ATP Tour and won 7 of them, including the 500 Series events at Dubai and Vienna. Lastly, Federer won the year-end championships over Andre Agassi, finishing the year as world number 2, narrowly behind Andy Roddick by only 160 points. 2004, imposing dominance. During 2004 Federer won 3 Grand Slam singles titles and became the first person to do in one season so since Mats Wilander in 1988. His first major hardcourt title came at the Australian Open over Marat Safin, making him the world number 1 for the first time. He then won his second Wimbledon crown over Andy Roddick. At the US Open, Federer defeated the 2001 champion, Lleyton Hewitt, for his first title there. Federer won 3 ATP Masters events, one on clay in Hamburg, and the other 2 on hard surfaces at Indian Wells and in Canada. Federer took the ATP 500 Series event at Dubai and wrapped up the year by winning the year-end championships for the second time. He also won his first tournament on home soil by capturing the Swiss Open in Gstaad. His 11 singles titles were the most of any player in 2 decades, and his record of 74-6 was the best since Yvonne Lendl in 1986. He reached the year-end number 1 ranking for the first time. 2005, consolidating dominance. In 2005, Federer failed to reach the finals of the first 2 Grand Slam tournaments, losing the Australian Open semi-final to eventual champion Safin after holding match points, and the French Open semi-final to eventual champion Rafael Nadal. However, Federer re-established his dominance on grass, winning Wimbledon for a third time by defeating Andy Roddick. At the US Open, Federer defeated Andre Agassi in the latter's last major final. Federer also took 4 Masters wins, Indian Wells, Miami, and Cincinnati on hard court, and Hamburg on clay. The win in Miami was particularly noteworthy as it was the first final contested between Federer and Nadal. Federer recovered from 2 sets and a breakdown to take the final in 5 sets. Furthermore, Federer won 2 ATP 500 Series events at Rotterdam and Dubai. Federer lost the year-end championships to David Nalbandian in 5 sets while playing through a foot injury that sidelined him for almost the rest of the season after September. He maintained his position as number 1 for the entire season. Federer won 11 singles titles, which ties his 2004 season. Federer's 81 match victories were the most since Pete Sampras in 1993, and his record of 81-4 remains the third best winning percentage in the Open era behind John McEnroe's 1984 and Jimmy Connors's 1974. 2006, career best season. The 2006 season was statistically the best season of Federer's career. In November 2011, Stephen Tigner, chief editorial writer for Tennis.com, ranked Federer's 2006 season as statistically the second best season of all time during the Open era, behind Rod Laver's Grand Slam year of 1969. Federer won 12 singles titles and had a match record of 92-5. Federer reached the finals in an astounding 16 of the 17 tournaments he entered during the season. In 2006, Federer won 3 Grand Slam singles titles and reached the final of the other, with the only loss coming against Nadal in the French Open. This was Federer and Nadal's first meeting in a Grand Slam final. He was the first man to reach all 4 finals in a calendar year since Rod Laver in 1969. Federer defeated Nadal in the Wimbledon Championships final. In the Australian Open, Federer defeated Marcos Baghdatis, and at the US Open, Federer defeated 2003 champion Roddick. In addition, Federer reached 6 Masters finals, winning 4 on hard surfaces and losing 2 on clay to Nadal. Federer, however, consistently pushed Nadal to the limit on clay throughout the season, taking him to 4th-set tiebreakers in Monte Carlo and Paris, and a thrilling match in Rome that went to a deciding 5th-set tiebreaker. Federer won 1 ATP 500 Series event in Tokyo and captured the year-end championships for the third time in his career, again finishing the year as world number 1. Federer only lost to 2 players during 2006, to Nadal 4 times in finals, and to 19-year-old Andy Murray in the second round of the 2006 Cincinnati Masters, in what was Federer's only defeat before the final of a tournament that year. Federer finished the season on a 29-match winning streak, as well as winning 48 of his last 49 matches after the French Open. Near the end of the season he won his hometown tournament, the Swiss Indoors in Basel, Switzerland, for the first time, having finished runner-up in 2000 and 2001, and missing the tournament in 2004 and 2005 due to injuries. 2007, holding off young rivals. In 2007, Federer reached all 4 Grand Slam singles finals, winning 3 of them again. He won the Australian Open without dropping a set, beating Fernando Gonzalez in the final. This made him the first man in the 21st century to accomplish the feat, as Bjorn Borg at the 1980 French Open was the last to win a Grand Slam tournament without the loss of a set. Federer had entered the year on a huge winning streak, and after capturing his 4th Dubai crown, Federer's winning streak stood at 41 matches, the longest of his career and only 5 shy of the record. Federer entered Indian Wells as the 3-time defending champion, but his streak ended in controversy. He was defeated by an Argentine, Guillermo Canas, who had failed a drug test for illegal doping. This surprising first-round loss marked the first time he was defeated since August 2006, a period spanning over 7 months. During the clay season, Federer's victory in the Hamburg Masters final was particularly impressive, as it snapped Nadal's 81-match winning streak on clay, an Open-era record. Federer turned the match around from a set down to sweep 12 of the final 14 games, including a final set bagel. At the French Open, some anticipated that Federer could become the first man in almost 40 years to hold all 4 majors simultaneously. having just resoundingly defeated young rival Nadal on clay entering the tournament. However, in a repeat of the previous year, Federer played a tough four-set final against Nadal, but was undone by going 1/17 on breakpoint chances. At Wimbledon, Federer entered the tournament not only as the four-time defending champion, but also riding a 48-match winning streak on grass. Once again, he defeated Rafael Nadal for a second consecutive year in the final, this time in a thrilling five-set encounter that many analysts hailed as the greatest Wimbledon final since 1980. Victory at Wimbledon equaled him with Bjorn Borg for the record of 5 consecutive championships at the All England Club. Federer reached the final in Montreal before playing a young and relatively unknown Serbian named Novak Djokovic. Djokovic proved his potential by beating the world number 1 in a final set tiebreaker upset. Federer rebounded in Cincinnati to capture his 5th title of the year. Federer entered the US Open as the 3-time defending champion and faced Djokovic in the final. This time, Federer prevailed in a close straight-set match. Victory in New York moved him ahead of Laver and Borg for third on the all-time list of major championship victories. Throughout the tournament, the American press nicknamed him Darth Federer for his all-black attire, and the tournament played the Imperial March from Star Wars when he was announced onto the court for each of his matches. He closed out the year with victories in Basel and the year-end championships in Shanghai. He finished the season as the year-end number 1 for the 4th year in a row, demonstrating his dominance, and during these 4 years he won 11 Grand Slam singles titles. After his phenomenal triple Grand Slam season yet again, Federer became the only player in history to win 3 majors in a year for 3 years. It was the 3rd consecutive season that Federer held the number 1 ranking for all 52 weeks of the year. 2008, illness, Olympic gold, and 5th US Open. Federer's success in 2008 was severely hampered by a lingering bout of mononucleosis, which he suffered during the first half of the year. At the end of the year he suffered a back injury. In 2008, Federer captured 1 Grand Slam, a singles title at the US Open over Andy Murray. Federer was defeated by Nadal in 2 Grand Slam finals, the French Open and Wimbledon, which was regarded as the best match of tennis history by many, when he was going for 6 straight wins to break Bjorn Borg's record. He came back from 2 sets down to force a 5th set, where he fell just 2 points from the title. At the Australian Open, Federer lost in the semi-finals to eventual winner Djokovic, which ended his record of 10 consecutive finals. He lost twice in Masters finals on clay to Nadal, at Monte Carlo and Hamburg. Federer captured 3 titles playing in 2 50-level events at Estoril, Halle, and Basel. At the Olympic Games, Federer and Stan Wawrinka won the gold medal in doubles, after beating the Bryan brothers' American team in the semi-finals and the Swedish duo of Simon Asplund and Thomas Johansson in the final. However, Federer could reach only the quarter-finals in the singles draw, bowing out to then number 8 James Blake, ceding his number 1 ranking to Nadal after being at the top for a record 237 consecutive weeks. He ended the year ranked number 2. 2009, career Grand Slam and major title record. Federer entered the 2009 season with 13 Grand Slams, only 1 behind Pete Sampras' all-time record. The season began with a loss to Nadal in the final of the Australian Open in a hotly contested 5-set match. Federer struggled following the defeat in Melbourne and entered the clay season without a title. Federer's season turned around in the final Masters event of the clay season when he defeated Nadal on clay for only the 2nd time to capture the Madrid Masters. Federer entered the French Open with few predicting him to win the elusive Parisian title, having lost to Nadal in the final weekend for the past 4 seasons. After Nadal's unexpected defeat to Robin Soderling, Federer became the overwhelming favorite. In his next match, he came from 2 sets and break point down in the 3rd set to defeat Tommy Haas in 5 sets. He also fought back from a 2-1 deficit against a young Juan Martín del Potro to win a 5-setter in the semi-finals. In the final, he faced Soderling, and with straight sets victory, he finally captured the Coupe des Mousquetaires and career Grand Slam. This victory also tied him with Pete Sampras for the most Grand Slam singles titles. Federer turned his sights to the grass courts of Wimbledon, where he breezed his way up to the final. In the championship match he faced longtime rival Andy Roddick in what was their 8th and final meeting at a Grand Slam. Roddick pushed Federer into a record-setting 5th set, which Federer claimed 16-14 to win his 15th Grand Slam singles title, breaking the all-time record of Pete Sampras. Federer continued his summer run by winning his 3rd title on the lightning-fast courts of the Cincinnati Masters, defeating Novak Djokovic in the final. At the US Open he defeated Soderling in the quarters and Djokovic, for the 3rd consecutive year, in the semi-finals. On the penultimate point of the Djokovic match he hit what many consider to be the greatest shot of his career, a tweener winner, to set up match points. Federer was defeated by Del Potro in the final despite leading 2-1 and falling just 2 points from the title in the 4th set. The 2009 season was perhaps the most historically relevant of Federer's career as he completed a career Grand Slam by winning his first French Open title and won a men's record 15th Grand Slam singles title at Wimbledon, surpassing Pete Sampras's mark of 14. The Wimbledon final was also historic for being the longest Grand Slam final in terms of games played, with Federer prevailing 16-14 in the 5th set. Federer finished the season as the year-end number 1 for the 5th time in his career. 2010, 4th Australian Open. Federer started the year with a win at the Australian Open, where he defeated Andy Murray in the final, extending the Grand Slam singles record to 16 titles and matching Andre Agassi's record of 4 Australian Open titles. Since Wimbledon 2005 Federer had made 18 out of 19 finals in Grand Slam tournaments, a period of sustained excellence unparalleled in the Open era. This tournament, however, marked the end of his dominance at the majors. At the French Open, Federer won his 700th tour match and 150th tour match on clay. However, he failed to reach a Grand Slam semi-final for the first time since the 2004 French Open, losing to Soderling in the last 8 and relinquishing his number 1 ranking, having been just 1 week away from equaling Pete Sampras's record of 286 weeks as world number 1. In a huge upset at Wimbledon, Federer lost in the last 8 again to Tom Berdych and fell to number 3 in the rankings for the first time in 6 years and 8 months. Towards the middle of July, Federer hired Pete Sampras' old coach Paul Annacone on a trial basis to put his tennis game and career back on track. At the 2010 US Open Federer reached the semi-finals, where he lost a 5-set match to Novak Djokovic after holding 2 match points. Federer made it to 4 Masters finals, prevailing against Marty Fish at the Cincinnati Masters. Federer finished the year in strong form, winning indoor titles at the Stockholm Open, Swiss Indoors, and the ATP Finals in London, bringing his tally to 66 career titles. Federer won the year-end championships in London by beating rival Rafael Nadal for his 5th title at the event. He beat all contenders except Nadal in straight sets. It remains the only tournament in his career where Federer defeated all fellow members of the Big Four. In 2010 Federer finished in the top 2 for the 8th consecutive season. 2011, Tour Finals title record. The year 2011 was a lean year for Federer, although great by most players' standards. He was defeated in straight sets in the semi-finals of the 2011 Australian Open by eventual champion Novak Djokovic, marking the first time since July 2003 that he did not hold any of the 4 major titles. In the French Open semi-finals, Federer ended Djokovic's undefeated streak of 43 consecutive wins with a 4-set victory. Federer then lost in the final to Rafael Nadal. At Wimbledon Federer advanced to his 29th consecutive Grand Slam quarter-final, losing to Jo-Wilfried Tsonga. It marked the first time in his career that he had lost a Grand Slam tournament match after winning the first 2 sets. At the US Open, Federer lost in the semifinals to Novak Djokovic in 5 sets. In a repeat of previous year's semifinal event, Federer again squandered 2 match points on his own serve before losing after winning first 2 sets for second consecutive time in the year. The loss meant that it was the first time since 2002 that Federer had not won any of the 4 Grand Slam titles. In September 2011, in a South African poll, Federer was voted the second most trusted and respected person in the world next to Nelson Mandela. Federer finished the season successfully in the indoor season, winning his last 3 tournaments of the year at the Swiss Indoors, Paris Masters, and ATP Finals, forming a 16-match winning streak. Federer finished the year ranked number 3. 2012, Wimbledon title, returned to number 1, and Olympic silver. The 2012 season for Federer had his most match wins since 2006 and his highest winning percentage and number of titles won since 2007. Federer reached the semi-final of the 2012 Australian Open, setting up a 27th career meeting with Nadal, a match he lost in 4 sets. He then won the Rotterdam Open for the first time since 2005, defeating Juan Martín del Potro. Federer played in the 2012 Dubai Tennis Championships, where he defeated Andy Murray in the final and won the championship title for the 5th time in his career. Federer then moved on to the Indian Wells Masters, where he defeated Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals, and John Isner in the final. Federer won the title for a record 4th time, and, in doing so, equaled Nadal's record of 19 ATP Masters titles. Federer went on to compete at the Madrid Masters on the new blue clay surface, where he beat Tom Berdych in the final, thus regaining the number 2 ranking from Rafael Nadal. In the French Open, Federer made the semi-finals before losing to Djokovic in straight sets, in a rematch of previous year's semi-final. At Wimbledon, Federer had a 5-set match in the 3rd round against Julian Benneteau on his way to winning the tournament. Federer defeated Andy Murray in 4 sets in the 2012 Wimbledon final, regaining the number 1 ranking in the process. "It's amazing. It equals me with Pete Sampras, who's my hero. It just feels amazing," Federer said of winning his 7th Wimbledon championship, tying Sampras' Open-era record. By defeating top-ranked Djokovic in the semi-finals and winning in the finals, Federer returned to the top spot in the world rankings and, in doing so, broke Sampras' record of 286 weeks atop the list. In the 2012 Summer Olympics, Federer played a 4-hour 26-minute semi-final against Del Potro where Federer won 19-17 in the 3rd and final set. In a lopsided match, he lost to Murray in straight sets in the final, winning a silver medal for his country. Federer won the Cincinnati Open in August, beating Novak Djokovic in the final. In the US Open, 5-time champ Federer was defeated by Tom Berdych in the quarterfinals. At the Shanghai Masters, after defeating Wawrinka in the 3rd round, Federer confirmed his 300th week at number 1. Federer made it to the finals of the ATP Finals, where he lost to Djokovic in 2 sets. 2013, Injury struggles and fall in rankings. Federer developed back injuries in March and July and his ranking dropped from number 2 to number 6. Federer's first and only title of 2013 came at the Gary Weber Open, where he also played doubles with good friend Tommy Haas. With the victory in Halle, he tied John McEnroe for the 3rd most ATP titles won by a male player in the Open era. Federer, however, was unable to maintain his form into Wimbledon, suffering his worst Grand Slam tournament defeat since 2003 in the 2nd round against Sergei Stakhovsky. Not only did the loss end Federer's record streak of 36 consecutive quarterfinals at Grand Slam tournaments, it meant he would drop out of the top 4 for the first time since July 2003. During the summer, he experimented with various different rackets and played the German Open with a blacked-out 98-inch Wilson racket, instead of his regular Pro Staff 6.190 BLX racket with the smaller 90-inch hitting area. He returned to his regular racket for the second half of the season. After Wimbledon, Federer continued to be upset early in tournaments in Hamburg and Gstaad because of a serious back injury through October, when he announced that he was parting ways with Paul Annacone, his coach for the last 3 years. Federer made the final in Basel, succumbing to Juan Martín del Potro in 3 sets, and indicated it was a mistake to have played certain tournaments while suffering from a back injury. On December 27, 2013, Federer announced that Stefan Edberg was joining his team as CO coach with Severin Luthi. 2014-2015, back to top form and world champion with Switzerland. 2014, Wimbledon final and Davis Cup glory. 2015, 1000th victory and finals at the US Open and Wimbledon. 2016, knee surgery, back injury, and long recovery hiatus. Federer started his season in the Brisbane International as the defending champion, despite having a virus when the tournament started. However, in a rematch of the previous year's final, he lost in the final to Milos Raonic in straight sets. Federer then participated at the 2016 Australian Open and rebounded from his third-round defeat by Andreas Seppi in 2015 by reaching the semi-finals but lost to eventual champion Novak Djokovic in 4 sets. The day after his loss to Djokovic, Federer sustained a knee injury and in early February, he underwent arthroscopic surgery to repair a torn meniscus in his knee and missed the tournaments in Rotterdam, Dubai, and Indian Wells in February and March. He was scheduled to return to action in Miami. Due to a stomach virus, he had to withdraw from the Miami Open, thus prolonging his time on the sidelines. Federer made his comeback at the Monte Carlo Masters, losing in the quarter-finals to Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 3 sets. In Madrid, he suffered a back injury during practice and withdrew shortly after arriving. He then participated in the Internazionale BNL d'Italia where he lost in the third round to Dominic Thiem. His withdrawal from the French Open broke a record run of 65 consecutive participations in the main draw of Grand Slam tournaments, stretching back to the 2000 Australian Open. Still suffering from recurring knee pain during the grass season, he lost in the semi-finals of Stuttgart and Halle. On July 6, he came back from 2 sets down to defeat Marin Ili in 5 sets in the 2016 Wimbledon quarterfinals, equaling Jimmy Connors' all-time records of 11 Wimbledon semi-finals and 84 match wins. He suffered his first defeat in a Wimbledon semi-final 2 days later in a 5-set loss to Raonic, re-injuring his knee in the 5th set. On July 26, Federer announced that he would miss the 2016 Summer Olympics and the remainder of the 2016 season to fully recover from his knee injury. The sudden withdrawal not only implied that 2016 was his first season since 2000 that Federer failed to win a title, but it also meant that he would have to drop out of top 10 for the first time in 14 years. This, combined with a Grand Slam drought spanning over 4 years, led to many analysts believing that his outstanding career was finally coming to an end and he would never win any major titles again. 2017-2019, Renaissance with 3 major titles, back to number 1, national and international teams success. 2017, Australian Open and Wimbledon titles, first Laver Cup. 2018, 20th major title and oldest number 1, Hopman Cup and Laver Cup champion. 2019, 100th title, 1200th match win, epic last major final, Hopman Cup and Laver Cup titles. 2020, Australian Open semi-finals, highest attendance record and right knee surgery. Federer began his 2020 season at the 2020 Australian Open. He reached the semi-finals after straight sets wins over Steve Johnson and Filip Krajinovic, a 5-set win over John Millman and a 4-set win over Martin Fucsovics. Federer saved 7 match points in his 5-set quarter-final win over Tennis Sandgren. Federer then lost his semi-final match to Djokovic in straight sets, having sustained a groin injury earlier in the tournament. In February, Federer underwent arthroscopic surgery for a right knee injury and subsequently withdrew from the Dubai Championships, Indian Wells, Miami Open, and the French Open to give time for his knee to recover, announcing that he would return in the grass season. On June 10, due to a setback from his initial rehabilitation from the knee injury suffered earlier in the year, Federer announced that he had to have an additional arthroscopic procedure on his right knee. He officially shut down his season to take the necessary time to recover, vowing to return in 2021. This was only the second year in Federer's career since he won his first title that he finished without a title. 2021, Wimbledon quarter-final and last singles match, injuries. In January, Federer withdrew from the 2021 Australian Open due to still recovering from knee surgery and strict COVID-19 quarantine measures in Australia. On March 8, Novak Djokovic surpassed him for the most career weeks spent as the ATP number 1 ranked player. On March 10, he made his return to the ATP Tour at the Qatar Open. He won his first ATP match in 14 months against Dan Evans, but lost to Nicolas Basilashvili in the quarter-finals. Federer then played at the Geneva Open where he lost his opening match to Pablo Andujar in 3 sets. After defeating Dominik Kofer of Germany in 4 sets in the third round, Federer advanced to the 4th round at the French Open. However, he withdrew from the tournament before his 4th round match citing knee problems, giving a walkover to Matteo Berrettini of Italy. In 2021 Halle Open where he was seeded 5th, he lost in the second round to Felix Auger-Aliassime. Federer was playing against the 20-year-old for the first time. Their 19-year age difference was the biggest in Federer's 1,521 career matches. This was the earliest exit at this tournament for Federer, who was seeking his 70th match win in Halle, and his 18th quarter-final at this event in as many appearances. At Wimbledon, 39-year-old Federer advanced to the quarter-finals and thus became the oldest Wimbledon quarter-finalist in the Open era, breaking the record held by Ken Rosewall, following wins over Adrian Mannarino by retirement, Richard Gasquet, 29th seed Cameron Norrie, and 23rd seed Lorenzo Sonego. However, he was then upset by 14th seed Hubert Hurkacz in the quarter-final in straight sets. This was the first time in 19 years at Wimbledon he had lost in straight sets, and only the second time he had lost a set 6-0 in the 21st century. On August 15, Federer announced that he underwent another knee surgery after further injury during the grass court season. He withdrew from the US Open and stated that he would be off the tour for many months, but he hoped to make a return to the tour in 2022. 2022, retirement and farewell alongside rivals. Federer did not play after Wimbledon 2021, and dropped out of the top 50 on June 13, 2022. On July 11, 2022, he became unranked for the first time since his professional debut. However, Federer announced that he was set to return to the tour at the 2022 Laver Cup in September. On September 15, 2022, he announced his impending retirement from professional tennis on the ATP Tour, noting that the Laver Cup would be his final ATP event. He stated that he will play more tennis in the future, of course, but just not in Grand Slams or on the tour. His final match resulted in a loss in doubles partnering longtime rival and friend Rafael Nadal, against Jack Sock and Francis Tiafoe. The match was his 1750th on the tour. National representation. Olympic Games. Federer made his Olympic debut at Sydney in 2000, where he entered the singles competition. He surprised many by reaching the semi-finals, where he lost to Tommy Haas and then to Arnaud de Pascal in the bronze medal match, causing Federer to leave Sydney empty-handed. At the 2004 Summer Olympics in Athens, Federer was the clear favourite after claiming the world #1 ranking earlier in the year and capturing the Australian Open and Wimbledon titles. However, he lost in the second round to 18-year-old Tom Berdych. In doubles, he and compatriot Yves Allegro lost in the second round. At the 2008 Beijing Olympics, Federer was again the top seed and favourite in singles, but lost in the quarter-finals to James Blake. He found more success in men's doubles, winning the gold medal with compatriot Stan Wawrinka, defeating Simon Aspelin and Thomas Johansson of Sweden. At both the Athens and Beijing Olympics, Federer was the flag bearer for Switzerland in the opening ceremony. At the London 2012 Olympics Federer entered again as the top seed and won his first singles medal, a silver to Andy Murray in the final. He and Wawrinka failed to defend their gold medal in doubles, losing in the second round to Jonathan Erlich and Andy Ram of Israel. Federer did not compete in the 2016 Rio Olympics after taking the rest of the season off after Wimbledon to recover from a knee injury. Similarly, Federer chose not to compete in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics due to a setback to recovering from a knee surgery. Davis Cup. Federer made his Davis Cup for Switzerland debut in the World Group first round against Italy in 1999 at 17 years of age. In his first match he defeated Davide Sanguinetti in 4 sets and recorded a second singles victory in a dead rubber 2 days later for Switzerland to advance to the World Group quarter-finals. There, Federer suffered his first Davis Cup loss when he was defeated by Belgian Christophe van Garsts in 5 sets. The Swiss team went on to lose the rubber 3-2. A year later, Federer competed in his first Davis Cup doubles rubber where he teamed with countryman Lorenzo Manta to defeat Australians Wayne Arthurs and Sandon Stahl in 4 sets. Despite the doubles victory, Federer lost both singles rubbers to Mark Philippoussis and Lleyton Hewitt, which saw Switzerland sent to the World Group playoffs for the first time in Federer's career. He returned for the playoffs in July 2000 and led Switzerland to a 5-0 win over Belarus by recording wins in singles and doubles. His first Davis Cup highlight came in 2003 as the newly crowned Wimbledon champion led his country to an historic semi-final run. After recording 5 wins and ties against the Netherlands and France, the Swiss team travelled to Melbourne to play the highly rated Australians. Federer once again defeated Wimbledon runner-up Mark Philippoussis in the second rubber but dropped the doubles rubber in 5 sets. Federer then played Lleyton Hewitt in a sudden death situation for Switzerland and despite leading 2 sets to love, lost in 5 sets. Australia went on to claim the Davis Cup title as Federer's interest in Davis Cup began to wane and his focus shifted to his personal career. He skipped many ties over the years but often competed in the World Group playoffs in order for Switzerland to maintain their place in the top division. The emergence of countryman Stanislas Wawrinka as a Grand Slam singles champion in 2014 renewed hope for Federer in his Davis Cup quest, and the pair both committed to playing each tie that year. Their commitment paid off as wins over Serbia, Kazakhstan, and Italy allowed the Swiss team to advance to the 2014 Davis Cup final. Leading up to the final, Federer was suffering from a back injury that threw serious doubt over Switzerland's chance to claim the title, and lost in straight sets to Gael Monfils. However, a rejuvenated Federer returned the next day to help claim the doubles rubber, which set up a 4th rubber singles tie between Federer and Richard Gasquet. Federer defeated Gasquet in straight sets and in doing so won Switzerland its first Davis Cup title. Federer holds many Davis Cup records for Switzerland that includes most total wins, most singles wins and most years played. Hopman Cup. Federer won the Hopman Cup in 2001 representing Switzerland, along with Martina Hingis. The duo defeated the American pair of Monica Seles and Jan-Michael Gambel in the finals. He also played the next year along with his current wife Mirka Vavrinak, but they lost in the round-robin stage. Federer played at the Hopman Cup again in 2017 with Belinda Bencic. They won all of their ties except the last one, and as a result did not make the final. In 2018, Federer won his second Hopman Cup title and third overall for Switzerland, partnering Belinda Bencic again. The Swiss team won all its ties and Federer won every match he played. They defeated the German pair, Alexander Zverev and Angelique Kerber, in the final 2-1. Federer won his third and second consecutive Hopman Cup title in 2019 alongside Belinda Bencic. They again defeated Alexander Zverev and Angelique Kerber of Germany in the final, and won the final tie 2-1 by a tiebreak in the decisive set. Federer again won all of his singles matches. The Swiss team only lost one tie to Greece. Federer has won 3 Hopman Cup titles, more than any other player. International representation. Laver Cup. Federer founded the Laver Cup, which pits Europe against the rest of the world. The tournament is named in honor of Rod Laver and the inaugural edition was played in 2017. Europe won the inaugural Laver Cup in 2017. Federer played his first singles match on day 2, when he dispatched Sam Querrey in straight sets. Later on day 2, he partnered with his longtime rival Rafael Nadal in doubles, where they defeated the Team World duo of Sam Querrey and Jack Sock in the match tie-breaker, which took place at 1-set-all. This was the first time Federer and Nadal competed on the same side of a doubles match. On day 3, Federer competed in the final match of the tournament, where he sealed victory for Team Europe by defeating Nick Kyrgios in the champions tiebreak. With 3 wins and 7 points, Federer was the most accomplished player of the tournament. The second edition was played in 2018. The European team led by Federer retained the title after defeating Team World, 13-8. Federer won both his singles matches, against Nick Kyrgios and John Isner, but lost both his doubles matches, one of which was partnering with his longtime rival Novak Djokovic. In 2019, the ATP announced that the Laver Cup would be an official event on the ATP Tour, with match wins and losses to be counted as official on every player's career record in singles and doubles. The third edition was held in Geneva, Switzerland. Federer and the European team captured their third consecutive title. Team World was closer than ever to win their first title, losing 11-13 after having led during the final day. Like in 2018, Federer won singles matches against Kyrgios and Isner. He went 1-1 in doubles. The 2022 edition marked Federer's final professional-level tournament. He played alongside longtime rivals and fellow Big Four members Nadal, Djokovic, and Andy Murray, and his final match was in doubles partnering Rafael Nadal. Rivalries. Federer vs Nadal. Federer and Rafael Nadal played 40 times, with Federer trailing 16-24. Federer has a winning record on grass 3-1 and hard courts 11-9, while Nadal leads on clay 14-2. Because tournament seedings are based on rankings, 24 of their matches were in tournament finals, which have included an all-time record 9 major finals. Federer and Nadal played each other from 2004 to 2019, and their rivalry is a significant part of both men's careers. The last encounter was at the 2019 Wimbledon Championships, where Federer won to reach the final. They held the top 2 rankings on the ATP Tour from July 2005 until August 17, 2009, when Nadal fell to number 3, and again from September 11, 2017 until October 15, 2018. They are the only pair of men to have ever finished 6 consecutive calendar years at the top. Federer was ranked number 1 for a record 237 consecutive weeks beginning in February 2004. Nadal, who is 5 years younger, ascended to number 2 in July 2005 and held it for 160 consecutive weeks, before surpassing Federer in August 2008. From 2006 to 2008, they played in every French Open and Wimbledon final. They then met in the 2009 Australian Open final, the 2011 French Open final, and the 2017 Australian Open final. Nadal won 6 of the 9, losing the first 2 Wimbledon finals and the second Australian Open final. 4 of these finals were 5-set matches, with the 2008 Wimbledon final being lauded as the greatest match ever by many longtime tennis analysts. Of their 40 meetings, 13 reached a deciding set. They have also played in 12 Masters finals, including their lone 5-hour match at the 2006 Rome Masters, which Nadal won in a 5th-set tie-break, having saved 2 match points. Federer vs. Djokovic. Federer and Novak Djokovic played 50 times, with Federer trailing 23-27. They are tied 4-4 on clay, while Federer trails 18-20 on hard courts and 1-3 on grass. The Federer-Djokovic rivalry is the most prolific rivalry in men's major history, with a joint record 17 matches played against each other. Djokovic is the only player besides Nadal to defeat Federer in consecutive majors, and the only player besides Nadal and Murray who has double-figure career wins over Federer. Djokovic is one of 2 players on tour to have defeated Federer in straight sets at a major multiple times, but Djokovic alone has done so 4 times. Federer and Djokovic first played in a Grand Slam final at the 2007 US Open, where the 3-time defending champion and number 1 Federer emerged victorious in straight sets. Federer ended Djokovic's perfect 41-0 start to the 2011 season in the semi-finals of the French Open, but Djokovic avenged this loss at the 2011 US Open in 5 sets after saving 2 match points against Federer for the second straight year. In the semi-finals of Wimbledon 2012, Federer beat defending champion and number 1 Djokovic in 4 sets. The two met again during the finals of the 2014 Wimbledon Championships, with Djokovic emerging victorious after 5 sets. Federer also ended Djokovic's 28 straight wins in China at 2014 Shanghai Open. Federer and Djokovic rematched in the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, with Djokovic once again claiming victory in 4 sets. The pair met once more for the final major of the season, the 2015 US Open, and once more Djokovic prevailed in 4 sets. At the 2019 Wimbledon Championships, Djokovic bested Federer in an almost 5-hour match, whose final set went to a tie-break. This was the 5th consecutive time that Djokovic defeated Federer in Grand Slam matches. Some experts have included the rivalry between Federer and Djokovic as one of the best rivalries in the Open era. Federer vs. Murray. Federer and Andy Murray played 25 times, with Federer leading 14-11. Federer leads 12-10 on hard courts, and 2-1 on grass. They never met on clay. After Federer won the first professional match they played, Murray dominated the first half of the rivalry, leading 8-5 in 2010, while the second half of the rivalry was dominated by Federer, who leads 9-3 from 2011 onwards. The two have met 6 times at the majors, with Federer leading 5-1. Their first 3 major matches were finals, with Federer winning all 3 of these matches, at the 2008 US Open and the 2010 Australian Open, both of which he won in straight sets, and at the 2012 Wimbledon Championships, in which Murray took the opening set, but went on to lose in 4 sets. However, Murray won their encounter in the semi-finals of the 2013 Australian Open, defeating Federer for the first time at a major in 5 sets. At the 2014 Australian Open, Federer reversed that result, defeating Murray in 4 sets in the quarter-finals. The final meeting between the two in a major was in the semi-finals of the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, where a dominant Federer triumphed in straight sets. They met in the final of the 2012 Summer Olympics, in which Murray defeated Federer in straight sets, denying Federer a career Golden Slam. Murray also leads 6-3 in ATP 1000 tournaments, 2-0 in finals. They have also met 5 times at the ATP finals, with Murray winning in Shanghai in 2008, and Federer in London in 2009, 2010, 2012, and 2014. Murray is one of only 3 players to have recorded 10 or more victories over Federer. Federer vs. Roddick. Federer and Andy Roddick played 24 times, and Federer leads their head-to-head 21-3. Roddick lost his number 1 ranking to Federer after Federer won his first Australian Open in 2004. Their rivalry includes 4 Grand Slam event finals, 3 at Wimbledon and 1 at the US Open, all won by Federer. Roddick himself said it was not much of a rivalry, being so one-sided. In the 2009 Wimbledon final, Roddick lost to Federer in 5 sets. The match included a 30-game 5th set and lasted over 4 hours. In the final game of the deciding set, Roddick's serve was broken for the first time in the match. With that victory, Federer broke Pete Sampras' record of 14 Grand Slam singles titles, and Roddick apologized to Sampras for not being able to stop Federer. Federer vs. Hewitt. Federer and Lleyton Hewitt played 27 times, with Federer leading 18-9. Early in their careers, Hewitt dominated Federer, winning 7 of their first 9 meetings, including a victory from 2 sets down in the 2003 Davis Cup semi-final, which allowed Australia to defeat Switzerland. This marked a turning point in the rivalry, as Federer won 16 of the next 18 meetings from 2004 onwards. This is Hewitt's longest rivalry, as these two first played each other as juniors in 1996. They met in one Grand Slam tournament final, the 2004 US Open final, where Federer won his first US Open title in a lopsided encounter in which Federer scored a bagel on both sides of a second-set tiebreak. Federer met Hewitt at 6 of the Grand Slam tournaments in which he lifted the trophy, including all 5 of his triumphs between 2004 and 2005. Their last meeting was at the 2014 Brisbane International, where Hewitt triumphed over Federer in 3 sets for his first title since 2010, when he also beat Federer to the Halley title. Hewitt and Federer teamed up in the men's doubles at Wimbledon in 1999. They lost in the third round to Jonas Bjorkman and Pat Rafter. Federer vs. Nalbandian. Federer and David Nalbandian played 19 times, with Federer leading 11-8. David Nalbandian was Federer's biggest rival in his early career. Nalbandian dominated early on, winning their first 5 matches from 2002 to 2003. Federer reversed this trend at the 2003 Masters Cup, where he recorded his first victory, and went on to win 11 of their last 14 meetings. Federer leads 6-5 on hard courts, 1-0 on grass, and 3-1 on clay courts, while Nalbandian leads 2-1 on carpet. Notable meetings include Nalbandian's win in a 5th-set tiebreaker to win the 2005 Masters Cup, and Federer's win in the 2006 French Open semi-finals. They met each other 6 times in Grand Slam tournaments, with Federer leading 4-2. Federer vs. Safin. Marat Safin and Federer played 12 times, with Federer leading 10-2. Federer and Safin turned pro within 1 year of each other, with Safin turning pro in 1997 and Federer in 1998. Federer leads 4-1 on hard courts, 3-0 on grass, and 3-0 on clay courts, while Safin leads 1-0 on carpet. Notable meetings include Federer's defeating Safin at the 2002 Hamburg Masters to win the first Masters title of his career, as well as Federer's emerging victorious in the semi-finals of the 2004 Tennis Masters Cup, after winning a tiebreak 2018 on his 8th match point. Federer also defeated Safin in the finals of the 2004 Australian Open to capture his first Australian Open and second Grand Slam tournament title. However, Safin defeated Federer in the 2005 Australian Open semi-finals, having saved one match point in the fourth set tiebreak, to end a 26-match winning streak by Federer. They met each other 5 times in Grand Slam tournaments, with Federer leading 4-1. Federer vs Agassi. Federer and Andre Agassi played 11 times, and Federer leads their head-to-head 8-3. This was Federer's most significant rivalry with a dominant player of the previous generation. They first met in only the third tournament of Federer's career at the 1998 Swiss indoors in Federer's hometown, with Andre Agassi prevailing over the 17-year-old. Agassi also defeated Federer at the 2001 US Open and the finals of the Miami Masters in 2002. Federer began to turn the tide at the Masters Cup in 2003, when he defeated Agassi in both the round-robin and the final. They played a memorable quarter-final match at the 2004 US Open that spanned over 2 days, with Federer eventually prevailing in 5 sets. At the 2005 Dubai Championships, Federer and Agassi attracted worldwide headlines with a publicity stunt that saw the two men play on a helipad almost 220 meters above sea level at the Hotel Burj Al Arab. Their final match was at one of the most prestigious platforms in the sport when they played in the finals of the 2005 US Open. Federer was victorious in 4 sets, claiming the 6th Grand Slam tournament of his career and denying Agassi his 9th. Federer vs Wawrinka. Federer and his countryman Stan Wawrinka played each other 26 times, with Federer leading 23-3. Federer leads 7-1 in majors, 17-0 on hard courts, 1-0 on grass courts and 5-3 on clay courts. The pair are 1-1 in finals. Their first meeting in a final came at 2014 Monte Carlo Rolex Masters, where Wawrinka defeated Federer in 3 sets to win his first Masters title before Federer avenged his loss at the 2017 BNP Paribas Open by beating him in the final. While the rivalry is one-sided in Federer's favor, the two contested some close matches. Wawrinka defeated Federer in straight sets during the 2015 French Open quarterfinals en route to winning his first French Open title, although Federer then won a straight sets victory in the 2015 US Open semifinals. Other close matches include the 2012 Shanghai Masters and the 2013 Indian Wells Masters, both of which Federer won in 3 sets, the 2014 Wimbledon quarterfinal, which Federer won in 4 sets, the 2014 ATP Finals semi-final, which Federer won in 3 sets after saving 4 match points, and the 2017 Australian Open semi-final, which Federer won in 5 sets. Despite their on-court rivalry, they are friends off-court, and played doubles together on numerous occasions, most notably when they won the doubles Olympic gold at the 2008 Beijing Olympics and when winning the 2014 Davis Cup. Federer vs Del Potro. Juan Martín Del Potro and Roger Federer played 25 times, with Federer leading 18-7. They met 7 times in majors, with Federer leading 5-2. Their 2 most famous major meetings came in 2009. The first was in the French Open semi-finals, when Federer survived a 5-set clash on his way to the only French Open title of his career. The second was in the final of the US Open, where Del Potro beat 5-time defending champion Federer in 5 sets, ending his 20-match winning streak at majors. Another high-profile match was in the semi-finals of the 2012 London Olympics, where Federer prevailed 19-17 in the final set to secure the Olympic silver medal. They also met in the finals of the Swiss indoors in 2012, 2013 and 2017, with Del Potro prevailing on first 2 occasions, and Federer on last one of them in tight 3-set matches. In the 2017 US Open quarterfinals, in a rematch of the 2009 final, Del Potro again beat Federer in 4 sets to end his unbeaten streak in majors that year. With this win, Del Potro also denied the first Federer-Nadal match at US Open, as in 2009 where he beat Nadal in straight sets in the semi-finals. Federer, however, avenged this loss at the Shanghai Masters semi-finals, where he beat Del Potro in 3 sets after coming from a set down. In the final at the 2018 BNP Paribas Open, Del Potro beat Federer in 3 close sets, after facing match points in the 3rd set. With this win, Del Potro won his first Masters title of his career. Federer vs Berdych. Tom Berdych and Federer played 26 times, with Federer leading 26. Federer leads 12-5 on hard courts, 3-1 on grass courts, 4-0 on clay courts, and 1-0 on carpet. Berdych won their first professional match, notably upsetting then No. 1 Federer at the 2004 Summer Olympics. Federer then went on to win their next 8 meetings, before Berdych ended the losing streak in 2010. Between 2010 and 2013, Berdych won 5 of 8 meetings. Federer again dominated the matchup after 2014, leading 9-0 since then. They met 10 times in Grand Slam tournaments, with Federer leading 8-2, and Berdych is one of 5 players, along with Arnaud Clement, Alex Corretja, David Nalbandian, and Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, to defeat Federer multiple times in majors before the semi-final stage. Their most notable Grand Slam matches took place in the 2009 Australian Open, when Federer prevailed in 5 sets after dropping the first 2 sets, the 2010 Wimbledon Championships and the 2012 US Open, both of which Berdych won in 4 sets. Berdych went on to reach the only Grand Slam final of his career after the Wimbledon quarter-final victory, ending Federer's run of 7 consecutive finals at Wimbledon dating back to 2003. Federer vs Tsonga. Jo-Wilfried Tsonga and Federer played 18 times, with Federer leading 12-6. Federer leads 5-3 on outdoor hard courts and 4-0 on indoor hard. They are 1-1 on grass and 2-2 on clay courts. The pair have met 6 times in majors, including their 5-set matches in the quarter-finals of 2011 Wimbledon and 2013 Australian Open. They have also won major semi-final meeting in the 2010 Australian Open, with Federer winning in straight sets. Federer and Tsonga have played in the 2011 ATP Finals final, with Federer winning his record 6th year-end championship in 3 sets. The pair have also met in 2 Masters finals. The first was in the 2011 BNP Paribas Masters, with Federer winning his first title in Bercy, and the second was in the 2014 Rogers Cup, with Tsonga winning his second Masters title. Federer vs Illy. Federer and Marin Illy played 11 times, with Federer leading 10-1. Illy's only victory came in the 2014 US Open semi-finals, after which he went on to win his first major title. Their first encounter was in the 3rd round in the 2008 Paris Masters, which Federer won in straight sets. They have played 6 major matches, 2 in Wimbledon, 2 in the US Open, 1 at the 2018 Australian Open and 1 at the 2021 French Open. Federer leads these matches 5-1. 2 of these have been major finals: the 2017 Wimbledon final, which Federer won in straight sets, and the 2018 Australian Open final, which Federer won in 5 sets. Achievements. Federer has won the 3rd most Grand Slam tournament titles, trailing Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal. He is the first men's singles player to have reached 10 consecutive Grand Slam tournament finals in a total of 31 Grand Slam finals. He has earned a men's doubles gold medal, and a men's singles silver medal at the Olympics in 2008 and 2012, respectively. He has spent the second most time at the top of the ATP rankings. He also holds the record for the most titles at the year-end championships, where only the year-end 8 highest-ranked players participate. Federer was ranked among the top 8 players in the world continuously for 14 years and 2 weeks from October 14, 2002 until October 31, 2016, when injuries forced him to skip much of the 2016 season. Federer has won the ATP Player of the Year 5 times, and has been named the ITF World Champion 5 times. He has won the ATP Fans' Favorite Award a record 18 times consecutively, and the Stefan Edberg Sportsmanship Award a record 13 times, both indicative of respect and popularity. He also won the Arthur Ashe Humanitarian of the Year Award twice, the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year Award 5 times, and the Laureus World Comeback of the Year Award once, following his 2017 comeback season. Federer is one of the founders, via his management company TEAM8, of the Laver Cup, the annual team tennis tournament which pits Europe against the rest of the world. He co-founded the tournament in honor of tennis legend Rod Laver, and the inaugural edition was played in 2017. Legacy and cultural impact. Federer has huge popularity in the world of sport, and is widely considered one of the greatest tennis players of all time, with many players and analysts in the period between 2009 and 2018 considering him to be the greatest player ever. He has also been called the greatest athlete of his generation. Tennis.com listed him as the greatest male player of the Open era. Federer himself has downplayed these claims, stating in 2012 that it is impossible to compare tennis players from different eras and that past champions are needed to pave the way for future champions. In 2014, Frank Sedgman ranked Federer number 2, behind Jack Kramer, in his greatest male tennis players of all time list in his autobiography Game, Sedge, and Match. In May 2020, the Tennis Channel ranked Federer as the greatest male tennis player of all time. In May 2021, Serena Williams described Federer as a genius and the greatest. In July 2021, BBC Sport users picked Federer as the greatest male tennis player of all time. During an interview with L'Équipe in July 2021, Richard Gasquet said aesthetics and grace are more important than the number of Grand Slam titles when it comes to deciding who is the greatest. He named Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal as the 3 best players in history, but singled out Roger Federer as the greatest. I see tennis differently. I've always said that for me it's not just the number of Grand Slam titles that matters. One at 21, the other at 22 or 23. I don't just see the Grand Slam winner, I look at the aesthetics, what you give off on the court. I often hear the race to the highest, it is a pointless subject. For me, Roger Federer is irreplaceable, he's the greatest player of all time when I see the aesthetics, the grace he has on the court. Until 2020, no other male tennis player had won 20 major singles titles. Federer has also been in 31 major finals, including a record 10 in a row. He has held the world number 1 spot in the ATP rankings for the second longest amount of time for a male player, behind Djokovic. He was ranked number 1 at the age of 36 and has won a record 8 Wimbledon titles. He won 5 consecutive US Open titles, which is the most in the Open era. He has been voted by his peers to receive the Tour Sportsmanship Award a record 13 times and voted by tennis fans to receive the ATP Fans' Favorite Award for 17 consecutive years. He has been named the Swiss Sports Personality of the Year a record 7 times. He has been named the ATP Player of the Year and ITF World Champion 5 times, and has won the Laureus World Sportsman of the Year award a record 5 times, including 4 consecutive awards from 2005 to 2008. He is also the only person to win the BBC Overseas Sports Personality of the Year award 4 times. Federer helped to lead a revival in tennis known by many as the Golden Age, leading to increased interest in the sport and higher revenues for many tennis venues. Rising revenues led to exploding prize money. When Federer first won the Australian Open in 2004, he earned $985,000. When he won in 2018, the prize had increased to $4 million on winning the 2009 French Open and completing the career Grand Slam. Federer became the first male tennis player to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated since Andre Agassi in 1999. He was also the first non-American player to appear on the cover of the magazine since Stefan Edberg in 1992. He again made the cover of Sports Illustrated following his record-breaking 8th Wimbledon title and 2nd Grand Slam of 2017, becoming the first male tennis player to be featured on the cover since himself in 2009. Federer has been nicknamed the Federer Express, and the Swiss Maestro. He has also been referred to as King Roger on occasion. In October 2021, the city of Basel inaugurated a tram named after him, the Federer Express. Philanthropy and outreach. Roger Federer Foundation. Special edition stamps. World's most respected, admired, and trusted personalities. Roger Federer Streets. Switzerland's most recognizable personalities. World's most marketable sports person. Honorary doctorate. Swiss coin. Most stylish man of the decade. World's highest paid athlete. Figure in Swiss history. Playing style. Federer's versatility has been described by Jimmy Connors, in an era of specialists, you're either a clay court specialist, a grass court specialist, or a hard court specialist, or you're Roger Federer. An elite athlete, Federer is an all-court, all-around player known for his speed, fluid style of play, and exceptional shot-making. Federer mainly plays from the baseline but is also comfortable at the net, being one of the best volleyers in the game. He has a powerful, accurate smash and very effectively performs rare elements of professional tennis, such as the backhand smash and skyhook, half volley, jump smash and an aggressive serve return known affectionately as SABR. David Foster Wallace compared the brute force of Federer's forehand motion with that of a great liquid whip, while John McEnroe referred to Federer's forehand as the greatest shot in our sport. Federer is also known for his efficient, deceptively effortless movement around the court and excellent footwork, which enables him to run around shots directed to his backhand, usually considered his weaker wing, and instead hit a powerful and penetrating inside-out or inside-in forehand, one of his best shots. He also has great variety with his forehand, able to hit with topspin or pace in opening up the court and going into the forecourt for aggressive volleys. Federer plays with a single-handed backhand, which gives him great variety. He employs the slice, occasionally using it to lure his opponent to the net and deliver a passing shot. Federer can also fire topspin winners and possesses a flick backhand, with which he can generate pace with his wrist. This is usually used to pass the opponent at the net. He has averaged 90% of service games won throughout his career, oftentimes coming up victorious in clutch or pressure service games. His serve is difficult to read as he always uses a similar ball toss, regardless of what type of serve he is going to hit and where he aims to hit it, and turns his back to his opponents during his motion. He is often able to produce big serves on key points in a match. His first serve is usually about 200 km per hour, but he is capable of serving at 220 km per hour. Federer is also accomplished at serve and volleying, and employed this tactic frequently in his early career. Later in his career, Federer added the drop shot to his arsenal and can perform a well-disguised one off both wings. He sometimes uses a between-the-legs shot, which is colloquially referred to as a tweener or hot dog. His most notable use of the tweener was in the semifinals of the 2009 US Open against Novak Djokovic, bringing him triple match point. Federer is one of the top players who employ successfully the squash shot, when he gets pushed deep and wide on his forehand wing. Since Stefan Edberg joined his coaching team at the start of the 2014 season, Federer has played a more offensive game, attacking the net more often, and improved his volley shots. In the lead-up to the 2015 US Open, Federer successfully added a new unique shot to his arsenal called SABR, in which he charges forward to receive the second serve and hits a return on the service line. The SABR is a unique shot that Federer owns, in the way that he manages to add enough power and placement into the shot, which makes it very difficult, or close to impossible for the opponent to reach it. With the switch to a bigger 97-inch racket from 90 inches, Federer has gained easy power while relinquishing some control on his shots. The bigger racket has enabled easier serving and better defense on both wings with fewer shanks. However, this has diminished control and power on his forehand, slice backhand, and drop shot. Since his comeback in 2017, Federer is noted for his improved backhand both down the line and cross-court, which was cited as the reason for his win against Nadal in the 2017 Australian Open final and Indian Wells fourth round. Federer is also noted for his cool demeanor and emotional control on the court. In contrast to his early career, most of his professional game has been characterized by lack of outbursts or emotional frustration at errors, which gives him an advantage over less controlled opponents. Federer declared, "I don't get the anxiety during a match so much anymore. You know, to throw rackets, to toss balls out of the court, scream, and stuff. I almost laugh about it a little bit today when an opponent does it. But that's something for me that's not a problem anymore." Equipment and apparel. Equipment. Federer plays with his signature Wilson Pro Staff RF97 autograph racket. It has a 97 square inch head, 16x19 string pattern, 366 gram strung weight, 340 gram swing weight, 68 Ra stiffness, and 9-point headlight balance. Federer strings his rackets using Wilson Natural Gut 16 gauge for his main strings and Luxilin ALU Power Rough 17 gauge for his cross strings. In an interview in November 2017, Federer stated his favorite stringing tension is 26.5 kg mains and 25 kg crosses. As a junior player, Federer played with a Wilson Pro Staff 6.085 square inch head racket. He switched to a bigger custom-built Wilson 90 square inch head racket in 2003. His grip size was 4+38 inches. When asked about string tensions, Federer stated, "This depends on how warm the days are and with what kind of balls I play and against who I play. So you can see it depends on several factors and not just the surface. The feeling I have is most important." Apparel. Federer first signed with Nike Footwear and Apparel in 1994. For the 2006 championships at Wimbledon, Nike designed a jacket emblazoned with a crest of 3 tennis rackets, symbolizing the 3 Wimbledon championships he had previously won, and which was updated the next year with 4 rackets after he won the championship in 2006. At Wimbledon 2008, and again in 2009, Nike continued this trend by making him a personalized cardigan that also had his own logo, an R and an F joined, which was originally designed by his wife, Mirka. Federer's contract with Nike expired in March 2018, and he later signed a deal with Uniqlo. It was reported that Uniqlo signed Federer for roughly $300 million for 10 years, as opposed to Nike's previous deal with Federer, which was for roughly $10 million per year. Since 2021, Federer has worn tennis shoes produced by On, a Swiss-based athletic shoe and sports apparel manufacturer in which he became a shareholder in November 2019. A limited edition lifestyle shoe named the Roger was released by On in July 2020. Endorsements. In May 2020, Federer became the first tennis player to reach the top of Forbes's list of highest paid athletes in the world. He is endorsed by Japanese clothing company Uniqlo and Swiss companies Nationale Suisse, Credit Suisse, On, Rolex, Lindt, Sunrise, and Jura Electroparate. In 2010, his endorsement by Mercedes China was extended into a global partnership deal. His other sponsors include Gillette, Wilson, Barilla, and Moët and Chandon. Previously, he was an ambassador for Nike, NetJets, MEAG, and Maurice Lacroix. Career statistics. Grand Slam Tournament Performance Timeline. Grand Slam Tournament Finals, 31. Year-End Championships Performance Timeline. Year-End Championship Finals, 10. Olympic gold medal matches. Records. All-time tournament records. Guinness World Records. Open Era Records. Professional awards. ITF World Champion, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2009. ADP Player of the Year, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2009. See also: Roger Federer Career Statistics. List of career achievements by Roger Federer. List of Grand Slam men's singles champions. Tennis Masters Series records and statistics. List of ADP number 1 ranked singles tennis players. World number 1 ranked male tennis players. All-time tennis records men's singles. Open Era tennis records men's singles. ADP Tour records. ADP Awards. 2004 Summer Olympics National Flag Bearers. 2008 Summer Olympics National Flag Bearers. Notes.